GM, and welcome to From A to Z, an Aavegotchi podcast. I am one of your hosts, Zombie Shepherd.
And I'm Z-Fi.
How's it going today, man?
Oh, keeping it real. Busy as always, but doing good, doing good. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. I'm, working on music, staying busy. I feel very compelled to play a lot of music lately. Blood and
Nice.
Honey, the Blood and Honey drop went really well. Really happy about how that went. Um, Obviously still a lot of work to do there, but just releasing it and having it get that kind of like response is like overwhelming and totally felt awesome. So of course it inspired me to continue to do more. Like, I mean, I already have a bunch of music, but I'm just like, now I'm like, all right, I want to race to like get this stuff done and be dropping more stuff. You got strike while the iron is hot, right?
Yeah, and then don't stop. You got to be relentless once you start.
Exactly.
Just keep it
And I
coming.
mean, it was almost like I don't use this word often, but it was almost very kismet because I had a call with the Gotchi Lodge crew. We were talking, trying to get our proposal together, and this was like like last week or whatever, right before. Actually, it was the day I dropped. I dropped it on Thursday. Actually, what's funny is music is New Music Friday.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to drop your music on Friday. I dropped it at 12 a.m. UTC. So it was technically Friday. It just happened to also be 6 p.m. Central Time on a Thursday.
Okay.
Worked out for me. Very convenient that Friday happens at 6 p.m. for me. So
a sneak drop. It was a sneak drop.
Right. So just like an hour or two before I dropped the song, I'm on this call with the Gotchi Lodge people. And Lost Local asked me if I wanted to play live shows while we're out there at ETH Denver. Yeah. And I was like, I hadn't considered playing live shows. I haven't played a show in like 10 years, maybe. Like I haven't played a show in a long time because I haven't been in like a band in a long time. I've been doing the studio thing for a long time, making film music and all that stuff. Sure. And so, yeah, when he said that, I was like, first, like, no, I don't want to play. Like, that's in my mind. I'm like, no. And then
I don't do that.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get in the studio. These are literally my words. I said, I'm going to go get in the studio and get my oats and call you back and say yes.
Have you gotten your oats? Have you made the yes?
I'm feeling my oats. Like I'm feeling really good.
Right. Good.
Because like the first part was like, I haven't done it in years. I haven't had to do it in years. Can I play and sing anymore? Like, I know I can play. I know I can sing if you call it, for what you think of my voice. It's not the greatest, but I know I can play. I know I can sing. Can I do both at the same time? I haven't done it in forever. So that was my first challenge, was like, all right, Blood and Honey wasn't written to be played and sung because I didn't plan to ever play and sing it. So I had to like suddenly for the first time go, can I do this thing? And
ooh, yeah. Can I perform a piece that I've assembled live?
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
And it's funny because as a musician who's played a lot of in a lot of bands and a lot of live shows, I never understood when like bands would say, like in lots of interviews, they say things like, we get when you write the album, you record the album, and then you have to figure out how to play it live. And I'm like, how do you have to figure out how, like, if you're a band and you performed it, like that's how you play it. But like this was that experience for me because like I played all of the instruments, but obviously I'm not an octopus. So I played them all, at different times. And so
then you just stack the layers.
Right. Like I never considered having to play and sing this thing. And so then like that was the first thing I did, was like, all right, I'm about to drop a song in 2 hours. Can I play and sing this at the same time? Is that something I'm even capable of doing?
Well, it's a good challenge. It'll be fun to see,
But I did it.
Nice.
And then I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's 5 minutes. I need at least another 20 to 25 minutes of that. Like,
you don't have to sing the whole time though. You can definitely do a little DJ stuff. You can do a little mixing. I wouldn't think that they would
I've got a
expect you to
set
sing
plan.
the whole time. Nice. Good.
Actually,
good.
no, I'm actually going all out because I've got multiple sets planned for different things. So like instead
Very
of
good.
doing a mix thing, I'm gonna I've got a set planned that's just like guitar, vocals, and a laptop assistant. Like basically my drums and my bass and my other recordings will be on the laptop.
Gotcha.
Unless I can unless somehow I get up with a band and they're like, hey, we'll play with you when you're in Denver. Well, that would be fucking the dream, but I don't know how to even begin going about that process. So but I have a set plan for that. We'll call that the rock set. Very guitar driven, me, vocals, and guitar, vocals, and a laptop. Then I'm also going to plan a gotchi DJ set that's just gotchi music.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm going to plan another extra DJ set because if things are going really well and you end up at a place where people are keep the music going, you don't want to be that person who's I'm tapped.
Yeah, they don't want to be calling for an encore to an empty track list.
So it's plan for a half hour, plan that they're probably only going to give you 15 to 20 minutes of that half hour. And then if things go really well and you just end up in a space where people are go, 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 then you have to be able to you have to be able to at least rock an hour or two so that you can be all right, I did my set. I don't have any more guitar stuff for you, but I can move on to I got some gotchi DJ stuff. I got some other DJ stuff. It's also one of those things where the DJ stuff especially can pop up anytime. And even that week, maybe I'll plan to do, if I'm not already previously engaged, maybe I'll plan to do Zombie Time live from East Denver.
Hey, that could be exciting.
I mean, we're doing a lot of streaming. The whole point is to go out there and be a media team. And we have a lot of work planned and it's really pretty serious. So, it might be totally that stopping to do this. Otherwise, I am planning to have some sets that, you can handle without me.
I like those.
But I'm also thinking well, shit, I'm going to be at ETH Denver. Why don't we do it's Twitter Spaces? Why don't we do Touch Grass from ETH Denver?
Yeah, we could do that for sure.
If I can get more people who are at ETH Denver to jump into Twitter Spaces, and it's we're looking at each other, but we're also in Twitter Spaces. And I don't know. The goons.
Yes. It's the Web3
They'll be
space
out there
bleeding into the meat space. It feels unnatural. Man. So I got one question for you then. When token gated concerts? When
That's
token gated concerts?
Something I've been thinking about, and this is a little bit of Zombie Time Alpha, but I've been all right, well, if I'm gonna go through I'm already working on how in order to do this, it's not just oh, I'm ready to go. It's now I have to build the set in the computer. I've got to get everything able to be performed. So I'm well, what the best way to feel good about this is probably to do some practice runs on Zombie Time. On a Friday night, be all right, I'm gonna run through at least maybe it's not going to be the same exact music, but I need to go through the motions of what this is going to look like.
Sure.
And
get a feel for the software that you're working with and all that.
Right. And I mean, also adding that extra layer of having to figure out how to get the audio right into the stream is actually going to make the performance part of it less stressful, because I'm going to be no, the main part is is the audience hearing this correctly, or am I sitting here hurting their ears? Because
very important.
And then that'll almost put the stress of performance in the back of my mind, because it'll put the logistical stress of is it going well in the front of my mind.
Well, cool. I mean, sounds like you're doing some personal level ups, if nothing else, and to be able to unlock that performance and do it in a place. Have you ever been to Denver?
No, honestly.
So you'd be doing it in a place you've never performed. All that's exciting.
Never been to Denver.
Cool. Man, you're making me feel some FOMO on my non-Gotchiverse time spending. I've been dealing with security intrusions all day, and it's not as fun as music.
Oh man. Well, that's not what I've been doing all day, so don't feel bad. It's not like I've been in the studio all day. I wish that's what I did all day. I
Sweet,
had
right?
some IRL work today, you know.
Good. Got to keep that fiat
Sometimes
flowing.
got to leave the house, get out the studio.
Indeed. Well, awesome. Lots of good updates there. We've got some community updates as well. Moving into the community highlights section here. We had a call with Stellar Hobbs yesterday to discuss the Gotchi Care program, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of Gotchi Care. So essentially, Stellar Hobbs is less interested in focusing on like the operational bits and the publicity bits and wants to just focus on the project. So we've partnered with him to help take on that front facing, that marketing aspect. So what we need to do is reach out to Gotchi Gang, reach out to other artists, reach out to more people in the community and see if there are people with great ideas that we just haven't heard yet. Great ideas specifically revolving around mental health issues in Web3. That's what this DAO is essentially built to address. It's currently funded with 1,000 Ghost, and I believe the first snapshot vote that goes up will be to determine or vote on whether we'd like to use that 1,000 Ghost to make a donation, call it good to wrap up the program, or if we'd like to use the 1,000 Ghost to potentially grow the treasury further to make a larger impact down the road. So that's the first question we've got to deal with Gotchi Care program, or GCP, as we like to call it now. And if you have ideas, we'd love to hear them. If you've got perhaps certain initiatives that you're close to, connected to, that are meaningful to you, that relate to mental health in Web3, mental health issues in Web3, let us know, because we want to know how best to deliver these funds, how most effectively we can direct them. And
yeah,
it's
I mean, I just add on to that. Part of the reason that, you know, we were brought into this, and part of the reason that the GCP was formed in the first place is because like the problems of going from crypto into traditional markets to do donations in that realm. So it really be great if we can get involved with some organizations that are already Web3 native, and it's easier to donate to those types of organizations because then we can donate crypto, and it's on them to deal with how they want to deal with, you know, the implications. And also if they're a true, like, you know, tax exempt organization, then they probably won't have to deal with it. It would, you know what I mean? Like it would be easier on them to receive crypto, sell it, and not have to deal with it. Whereas like for Stellar, he would have to put it into fiat, and then he would be paying the taxes on that conversion. And then that's like hurting the amount of money that he's able to give.
That's essentially the goal, is how can we be as the maximum amount of effective with this funding pile that we have as possible.
Right.
And the answer to that might be multiply the pile. We're just going to have to wait to see what the community thinks, but it might end up being that we take that 1,000 Ghost to either, you know, just hold on to and perhaps partner with additional artists to grow that fund from outside. Or maybe there's something we can do with that 1,000 Ghost to multiply within the 1,000 Ghost before deploying it. Yeah. So lots of ideas floating around. We
really good ideas about that, but we won't bring them up yet. We want to hear your ideas.
Exactly.
So that's why we're telling you about it. Get with Stellar Hobbs, get with us. We can always, you know, talk ideas about the GCP, the Gotchi Care program.
Indeed. I didn't have many other community highlights for this week. Have you been picking up anything else that I missed on in the community or events that are happening?
Let me think.
I know there is one Twitter space tomorrow morning, 1 p.m. UTC Wednesday, and it was announced. Let's see.
On Saturday, I also thought that Jesse said there would be another Twitter space on Wednesday in the evening.
Oh, that may be true. If that's the case, I'm unaware of that one.
Space.
Oh, the Gotchi space. Okay. This was a demo for a Web3 community. I want to say it was Crew 3. I'm looking for it right now.
Oh, I think I did see that. Did Hefe drop us that link?
He did. That's where I should have gone to look for it. Here we go. Narval.xyz. Level up your guild. They're doing a live stream demo of Narval GMI on Twitter and YouTube tomorrow. Wednesday, 1 p.m. UTC. So it's just one more tool for us to check out for, building Web3 communities and managing our communities. I've never heard of it. It's all new. I will be in another meeting tomorrow at that time, and we'll miss this, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more about it. In Aavegotchi ecosystem updates, very brief update this week. It was announced last Saturday on the weekly hangout that Pixelcraft is going to start moving from a weekly shipping rotation to a bi-weekly shipping rotation. So we won't have shipping updates every week. It'll be every other week. So this week was an off week, and the announcement that more is coming tomorrow. Oh, we've got some activity in chat here. Nice.
Yeah, Addison popped in. I said hi to him, and then unfortunately, old messages don't show. And then I also dropped that Twitter link into the comments for anybody who's watching.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Addison, hey, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you, man. Aavegotchi DAO updates is what I was going to move into next, unless you had anything else.
I think that's the juiciest topic of the week. I mean, really.
Where the bulk of the discussion is, for sure. So, quickly recapping the closed proposals, we had AGP 51, 54, 55, 56. Those have all since closed, and we can go through the results briefly. AGP 51 was the election for DAO Foundation directors. Pulling up the snapshot right now. And the results on that, top 9 are Mori, No Futuristic, Mycelium, Notorious BTC, 1, 2, 3, 4, Choina, 5, Kokusho, 6, Maxi Crouton, 7, Brills, 8, and Cryptogotchi, 9. So those will be our top 9 DAO Foundation directors, unless there's any adjustments at this point, but I think this is a pretty solid list. It was solid before it was posted this time, so we're good there. So those are the 9 for AGP 51. AGP 54 was to create the Arcade Task Force, the ATF. I can't imagine this one didn't pass. 98.09% create the ATF. So it looks like we're going to have an official ATF now, and that's exciting because we tried it once before. It didn't quite take off. This time it stuck. AGP 55, updating the snapshot template to require the use of weighted voting. This one also passed with an overwhelming percentage, 96.75%, to require weighted voting. And we've touched on this before on the benefits and kind of what this would allow a voter to do. Among other things, it allows voters to now abstain or make a vote of indifference, not having to vote one way or another, if that's how they'd like. Right. You can also obviously weight your votes. So if you think maybe this is a good idea, but I'm still a little hesitant, you can do 75% yes, 25% no. It just gives a little more flexibility in the vote. But that looks like it has passed. Where'd my notion go? Here we go. We've got AGP 56, funding the Alchemica spending competition. It was already going to be funded, so this one should be titled Overfunding the Alchemica spending competition. But the result was yes. 78.87% yes to fund this with 80,000 goats from the DAO, from Pixelcraft's Player Rewards wallet. Those are all the recently finished, recently closed props, and then there's 2 active ones. The first one up is establishing the core framework, guiding wearable release for the Forge. Head on over to the snapshot, review the setup there for how the cores are proposed to work, and add your voice there. It seems pretty strong to me so far. When I read through it, it seems like it's been very well thought out, very well calculated, and the support seems to be there as well. I mean, at this current point, not that this is a particular reason to vote, but at this point, 97.5% of the vote is yes, and quorum has not yet been reached. So that one's open for another, I want to say 4 days. End date Jan 12, 10:46 p.m. So it's open for another 2 days. That one closes quick. So get in there and vote if you haven't done that yet. And then one more open proposal is to launch round 2 parcel rolls. So the first replenishment, but the second batch of Alchemica from our parcels. I think it was initially rough scheduled to be released within the first 6 months. We've gone past that point, and now there is a proposal calling for the refill. Oh, this is what I should have been doing the whole time. There's a proposal calling for the refill on the parcels. I know that there are some parcels at this point that have been fully extracted. They've been fully tapped. And that timeline, at this point, we would have expected a refill according to that rough estimated timeline. So this is just saying, let's launch it if you want to launch it, but getting it rolling versus pushing it down the road. So have a read through that, see if that sounds like a good idea to you, and then place your vote on that one. And then I think the big one, the one that really caught my eye the most this week, is an open forum discussion. It is Improve the DAO, is the title of it, by Ceza. Someone tell me how to pronounce that name correctly so I can do it correctly, but Ceza? I
think it's Ceza.
Thank you. So there's a post there, and it's just a discussion post. It's not a proposal at this point, but it's opening up a discussion regarding the incentivizing of voting in the Aavegotchi DAO by providing XP to those who vote. You know, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. You know, we've seen that Aavegotchi DAO is one of the most active DAOs in the space, and it might be due to having that incentive behind voting. That's great. But there are some issues pointed out in this post that maybe we're forcing incentives. Maybe it might not be the correctly aligned incentives. Maybe XP for voting isn't the right idea, is what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to unpack in this post. I think this is applicable to everyone. It's worth reviewing. It's worth reading through the comments, reading through the discussion. So the problem being highlighted is it might be forcing people to vote, and that might not be a bad idea. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm wondering, does the weighted voting in any way solve this? Like, I understand it's like the idea that you're forcing people to vote, but I would have to read through this to understand better exactly like why I understand why it's a bad thing with the current voting system, because basically you're forcing people to vote on it's kind of like the current political system anywhere, where it's like Coke or Pepsi, and you're like tea, and they're like Coke or Pepsi, and you're like water.
Yeah.
No.
And then somebody will tell you that you're losing your whatever if you don't get Coke or Pepsi, and then now you're voting in defense. Like, oh, I don't want to be given Pepsi. I better vote for Coke, you know?
Right, exactly.
But to answer your question, I think it does a little bit, because historically we've seen a lot of votes that are just like yes, no. There's no abstain option.
Right. So
you can't get your XP unless you spam a vote. It's just incentive to vote, regardless of what you think, regardless of what the post says. You might not have even read it, but you're just like, you got to vote.
You got to vote because I got to get my XP.
You got to get your XP. Right. The idea behind having that weighted voting potentially solving or being one way to reduce the impact is that now if a post or a proposal is posted with a yes-no vote and someone doesn't know what they want to do, they can vote 50% yes, 50% no. They have voted for nothing. Their vote counts towards quorum, they get the XP, and they're not blindly voting just because. Right. So it should lead to, ideally, more well thought out responses. It should lead more to an accurate representation of the vote.
Right. See, I like that. And part of the reason I think that like incentivized voting is actually a positive thing is because like you said, we're one of the most active DAOs in the world. Why? Because we incentivize voting. Imagine if other governments incentivized voting. Imagine if like we had ranked choice and weighted voting, and you actually had ways to like actually pull the levers, and then not just pull the levers, but receive some kind of incentivization for having done so, other than altruism or
Right.
hating some other group of people so bad you have to do it, you know?
Right.
Or literally just trying to protect your way of life. So like, oh, I have to go do this thing, even though this doesn't protect my way of life in any way. It doesn't hurt it as bad as Coke does.
And that's the voting in defense thing.
So yeah, it's kind of like I think all of these things, when applied to the real world, would actually be kind of cool. If you think about it, like if we had weighted and ranked choice voting and incentivized voting in the meat space, it would be like kind of cool. So I kind of think that this is cool about Aavegotchi DAO, and that doing away with incentivized voting only leads to the ossification of, you know, voter apathy, which we see a lot in
Everywhere.
other DAOs, you know what I mean? And in the world. But yeah, like voter apathy is literally like, you know, only the people who really care and really want to get involved are going to be voting. And then so that's still forcing everybody else to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think incentivized voting actually does give people a reason to be there, even if they're not going to get fully involved. And in some cases, that like showing up enough times actually does get you involved.
Yeah.
You know, like, because if you know, you're at least reading the SIG prop or the core prop, even if you're not going through all the DAO discussions. So that reading that much might lead you further down the rabbit hole, whereas turning off the incentivization actually makes it to where, well, I'm just never going to look now, because there's no...
Yeah, it's already a tsunami of information feeds. Especially
if you're already like someone who feels like their vote gets washed out every time anyway, like no matter what you're voting for, it doesn't matter. Like, so I'm just further not going to care, because now not only am I going to lose, but I won't get XP for it either. So I don't think that is a positive effect. But like I said, I do need to read the entire post and see if there's other things that I'm not thinking about that, you know, have been brought up.
Oh, for sure. For sure. There's a lot in there. And that's really just touching the tip of the iceberg here. There was other evidence of patterns of potential vote manipulation.
And
there's a lot in that thread to look through and soak up. Ideally, the call to action, or essentially, ultimately, the call to action here is, if you're not active on the forum, but you're still voting, if you're still, you know, participating in the ecosystem, but you're not posting on the discourse, maybe it's time to get involved. And I say that I'm in that boat as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing other things. I don't ever post on the forum. I browse, I sometimes check in, but I don't keep up on it the way that I probably should.
No, you're right.
Like, good citizen of the Aavegotchi.
I'm the same way. And that actually brings up like a really good point that we were talking about before the show that I'd like to address. And that's like, a lot of the time when we get on these proposals, we just talk about proposals and we don't really get into who wrote it, and we don't get into those kinds of things, because for me, it doesn't matter. I try not to be like, oh, my friend wrote this, or someone I don't like wrote this, or whatever it might be. Like, I try to be like, well, this is how I feel about this thing. I may really like the person who wrote it, but I don't agree with this thing, so I'm going to talk about it like that. So yeah, I don't know. That felt like that's part of the reason I think I also don't get involved a lot in these discussions, because sometimes I do, like, especially recording the DAO calls and things like that, I do have feelings and I do get heated up, and I'm like recording this thing and I'm like, am I about to just like go ham in chat, and like, and you know, and I think the way I record the calls, like, you can see me typing. So like people are seeing my angry typing and me racing and editing, and like, no, I can't do that. Or I got to do it from another device so that I just drop it.
That's the trick. Yep. That's the trick. That's the one I learned recording bankless DAO calls. If I have to type, do it over here.
Like, yeah, a second device is always great for a stream. Like, just
Well, hey, I want to check up on the chat here. I'm seeing a lot of comments.
I know
and
Addison
I
has
want to
some
make sure
great
that we're
questions
addressing
here.
them. Lots of support for the GCP, lots of support for the Gotchiverse program and Stellar Hobbs in general. It's looking good there. There was a question about when the arena was coming out. So I don't know if Pixelcraft has given a hard date on that, but I think they were shooting for like end of January, early February. It was around Forge launch. And as far as I know, Q1 2023. Do you have any other details, Zombie?
I thought something was said at the DAO call Sunday, and it's kind of slipping my mind now.
Same.
But I think you're right. It is like, I think it is into January, early February.
It's soon.
It's very soon.
Yep. And people are amped for it. I know. Addison, everyone heard you were like smashing in the arena.
He did not sleep. That's what I
Right?
heard. Is
That's what we heard.
Sleep
Yeah,
that
yep.
weekend.
Taking it seriously, so that's good to see. And then there's another
I have
comment.
a cat battle going on behind me.
Oh, yeah, that's good entertainment. That's freebies there. There's one more comment that says, "Don't nerf XP. We need to stop nerfing stuff in our ecosystem."
Oh, great. We're getting hit with the spam bots.
Oh, cool. Spam. There's ads now. In case you guys like ads, we're going to turn those off. But that's a good point. Addison, you make a great point. And we've had this
Block this
conversation
person,
many
but
times.
I don't think I can delete their comments. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Keep on. I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, oof. Well, at least the game's there for you. You know, that's the decentralized ecosystem. That's the value of the decentralization and the somewhat censorship resistance. You know, obviously the Discord is still centralized and censorable, but yeah, the game is available to everybody, equally to all. What are you doing? What are you doing over there?
I'm trying to get rid of the damn spam bot chats, and it won't go anywhere. Addison, you just gotta you gotta clean us out, man. You just gotta drop a bunch of comments so we can.
Oh, yeah, we need 6 more messages. But I didn't want to lose that. He did say an important thing here. We need to stop nerfing stuff in the ecosystem. Nerfing XP, nerfing land, nerfing whatever. We seem to have a pattern of turning stuff off. And
right, and that's
putting up walls.
That's something, going back to one of those other proposals about re-rolls. You know, that was something that like I am pretty surprised by, because like we're turning everything off and then we're like, oh, we have to do these re-rolls because they were promised. But like there were a lot of other things that were pretty much promised and very much expected that we've turned off. So I'm very shocked to see that, like, you know, we turn things off all the time, but sometimes when people want things turned on, we do that. And you know,
oh, now we got the real questions coming through. Where are bubble ups? When lodges? We're gonna have a bunch of angry pitchfork and torch carrying.
yeah, I mean,
great portal area.
Some great points. I mean, you know, I think we tried to do this in one episode last season where we actually were like, hey, let's see what the original roadmap was and where we're at now. And that episode was kind of like, okay, this is very different. I think actually that ended up being 2 episodes. What? We are getting attacked. But
no, this is comment. This is all. I only see good comments coming through. You see more spam?
01245. I don't think that's a real comment.
It's in response to our getting banned in the Discord. It seems relevant.
We got banned in Discord?
No, it's Addison was talking about it.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay.
And we've even got feedback. That's no spam.
Okay, that's a real person. Sorry.
12345. Welcome. Hello.
Great name.
So spicy post on the forum. Get on over there, take a peek, have a read. I'm going to. I have to.
Yeah, I have to as well. And you're right.
So many opinions. I have to make time to actually engage on the forum.
Yeah, I mean, part of my problem is like I don't necessarily like I do a lot already, and especially like with doing the streams and stuff like that, it's really hard to like devote more time to Aavegotchi. Like it's kind of like, I'm doing the weekend calls. We have our podcast. We have all of our pre-production and post-production for the show. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard to say, all right, well now I'm also gonna like
That's
go
the thing.
solve governance. It's
Takes
kind of
time.
like, yeah, definitely I agree to some point, but not every. Think about it like this. When we get to a point where we have like 10,000, 20,000 people in this ecosystem, like everybody's got to post on the forum. Like that's the way like it's got to go. Like that's not manageable. That's not
It's
reality.
not sustainable. No.
Like
that's why I'll quick jump in here. That's why one of the suggestions from Ceza was some sort of a like delegation of voting power to certain groups with a cap on the maximum aggregated voting power that any one group can have.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of solutions or potential suggestions
Yeah.
for solutions in that thread. That's
a
why
lot. I mean, like you
worth
said,
reading.
I do need to read it. It definitely, to me, feels more like adopting meat space techniques. And I thought the point was to go forward, not to be like, well, this is what works in the real world, even though like the reason we're here is because it doesn't work in the real world. And like that's one of the reasons I hate when anybody at all, because it happens in every DAO, when anybody says like, well, we have to operate like the Fed. I'm like, the reason we are in crypto is because fuck the Fed. All right. So don't bring the Fed up to me. Like, if you
not
are
a model we
pro-Fed,
want to replicate.
you are anti-crypto. Sorry. That's hey, guess who else was pro-Fed? SBF. You know what I mean? So yeah, every time somebody says, you know what, I actually thought about this the other day. There's that thing that like in a political conversation, if you bring up Nazis or Hitler, you lose like automatically.
Yeah, if you play that card, you lose.
That's the Fed in crypto. If you're talking in a DAO discussion and you bring up the Fed, you lose.
Interesting spicy hot take there.
I'm sorry, like crypto is anti these things. Like
it is. I mean, I would say generally. It's
so if you came here to like take the place of those, like that is literally why all structures get corrupt, because people come into something as like, oh, this is rebellious, this is breaking the model, this is going to change things, and then literally say like, well, now I have the power and I'm going to do all the things that people are doing on the other side of the fence because now I can. And it's like, no, the point was to like create better systems.
Create a system that prevented exactly.
Right.
And that's what we're here.
What happens is, it's why every rebellion inevitably fails, because rebellions become the aristocracy of tomorrow. Like, it's pretty much how it goes. Like, that's history.
That's deep. It's deep. So if the Aavegotchi ecosystem is a rebellion against gaming, traditional finance, boredom, we're going to be in charge in a few years, and that feels good.
Well, the funny thing is, people could be like, you're taking this very seriously for it just being a DeFi game. Like, it's not that serious. Like, chill out. Well, first of all, it is that serious because you're calling it the Fed. And second of all, like, if we're one of the most active DAOs in the entire world, then we are the model, whether it's a game or not. Like, people are paying attention to what we do. And if everybody sees what we're doing as things that are good, then everybody's going to do those things. So if we even the fact that we're a game actually makes it even better, because we should be experimenting with better models because it's a fucking game. So we definitely shouldn't be saying, well, this needs to operate exactly like meat space governments. Like, if there's anywhere to experiment, this is it. You experiment in games, and then when you find that this game is actually really like intelligently designed, you can adopt it into actual systems. You can say, well, this works here. This gamified thing works, and we can actually use this to like you do real political elections because it fucking works. You know, like, so I think if we're not brave here, then where will we be brave?
This is the place. You're absolutely right. This is the place to do it, especially with however many of us have these kind of pseudo anonymous personalities or avatars in this space. You have the most freedom. You have the most leniency. When you have a name that you can just dispose of and get a new one, I mean, obviously there are risks to that as well, but like that's the time to experiment. If you fail, it's not on your face, it's on your tag's face. And if it's really bad, maybe just get a new tag, you know? So this is the space. I agree. This is the big brains that are frustrated enough and smart enough to aggregate in a community where these changes are possible. I think it's just we need to make the changes. You know, we need to develop those systems.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? As heated up as I get, I definitely do need to jump in there. And you know what I mean? Like at this point, like there needs to be that voice.
Even if you can just get in there and throw hearts, you know, support the posts that seem to align with what you're thinking.
I've definitely tried to do
questions here and there. It's
deep
all
dive and
contribution. Yeah. So a little bit of a lengthy coverage here of the Aavegotchi DAO, but like we said, it's important stuff, and there's a spicy, active discussion that I think deserves more attention, more input, including my own. So I'll have to get in there this week as well.
Yep.
Is there anything else on the forum that I may have missed that might be off our radar? Does anybody in the audience have any suggestions for topics that we should be paying attention to in addition to these?
Well, there's nothing to check back into yet, but obviously there's Gotchi Lodge. But there's nothing to read on it yet. So
well, that's a good transition. We're moving right in here to the GMI highlights, and we've just got
cool.
Gotchi Lodge is one of them, so I'll just let you run with it.
I mean, the main TLDR is that, like, in conjunction with like Lost Local, we've had a lot of plans about how we would activate at ETH Denver, like what we would be doing, like as far as what kind of coverage we would be getting, how we'd be talking to people. Like our main goal would be trying to onboard devs into the Aavegotchi ecosystem. Like Aavegotchi needs more devs. We need more builders, like Pixelcraft themselves and just the ecosystem in general. Like, so I think that, ETH Denver is uniquely positioned as like the most dev heavy conference, like one of the biggest dev heavy conferences in the world. So this is like a great time for, Aavegotchi to have a presence there.
I would tend to agree. And my gut says with all the layoffs that are happening across the tech industry, there may be a larger than usual talent pool of devs looking for work.
Right.
This might be the year to scoop some of those resources.
It might be why a lot of people are going, is to see who's still building, who might be hiring. You know what I mean?
That's true too.
So
I think there's a lot of value, especially if you're going to be there for 9-10 days. What's the plan?
I believe it's 9 days, but there's also like
a lot you can get on.
I don't think anybody's planning to stay for this other than Lost Local. I may, depending if things are going well, but like I might. There's a mountain retreat time period after that's like 5 days or so.
That could be fun.
I'm debating. I mean, I'm kind of at this point, man, this show thing, like I said, it's really got me thinking a lot. And I'm like, man, I'm really like thinking about trying to push to maybe try to book shows on my own while I'm out there. Because like stuff like that would take place like after work kind of thing. So it's kind of like if I could get some shows booked and make some extra money while I'm there, then like I can extend my stay, The other thing is I'm waiting to hear back from Mike Halium if I'm allowed to bring Mr. Bob. I don't want to leave him alone for that long. He's like such a weird guy, like he's a weird dog. I mean, he's a good dog, but he's very strange.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and
he would just be road trip.
Really lonely without me. He doesn't even like me leaving to go out for work and stuff like that.
My cats are the same way. You went grocery shopping today, and you had the nerve to come back here.
See, the cats?
Sorry.
The cats care a little bit less. Like, or maybe I just think they do. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
they care the most, but they're withholding because that's how
they're catty. I got you.
Yeah, they're catty.
I get it. I'm not mad.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not mad and we're still friends, but I'll never show it. Okay. Cats are fun. Anything else on ETH Denver? Are you looking for any help? Are you looking for any tools? Is there anything like blockers that you need aside from the funding proposal, of course?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're. I think I don't know if there was a DM about this, but I think I'm supposed to be meeting with Hefe and No Futuristic to discuss equipment. I may drive up there, so if I drive, I'll be able to bring more equipment than if I fly. And that the main reason I'm thinking about flying is because, like, I mean, driving is because if I'm going to play shows and if I want to bring Bob, I want to drive. Because then I can, for one, I'm not boarding any of my guitars. Like, it's not happening. Not happening. Like, I don't have, I mean, I'll put it this way. If there's a guitar that I would board, I might as well just buy it when I get there.
Yeah.
Like that, because the only guitars I would trust to board are guitars that I would never want to see again. So I might as well just
probably wouldn't. Yeah.
Holy crap. That's actually a great idea. I just thought about it. Man, if I play shows that I had to fly to, just buy the guitar when I get there and then like play my shows on it and sell it as an NFT.
Ooh.
Boom. Then I don't even have to bring the guitar back with me.
Covers your airfare. Yeah. Interesting approach. Interesting.
Play all the shows on the guitar, you know, ding it up a little bit, put some lifeblood into it, and then sign that bitch and NFT it.
That's
put a bird on it.
Just put a bird on it. Yeah.
Nice. Those are Portlandia jokes.
I didn't get the Picklet one, but I remember the put a bird on it one.
Put a bird on it.
Weird show.
I'll slap a Lynn sticker on it. Boom. Hot item now. Like Zombie Shepherd plays shows on this. It's got a Lynn sticker. I'll put a fake Gotchi sticker on it. Boom.
There you go. Value adds.
Very Bitcoin good. Guitar.
Hey, now we're branding. Now you're advertising. Love that.
It'll be wrapped Bitcoin. It'll be AM. It'll be AMWBTC.
There it is. Yeah. Yep. You need to fill your gotchis. You got to upload your sphere.
You're like, why is this guy a Bitcoin maxi? It's like, no, Aave wrapped Bitcoin on Polygon, sir.
Yeah, it happens to be Bitcoin. I'm an Aave maxi on Polygon. Yeah. That's a fun kind of oxymoron there. I like that.
Yep.
All right. So if that's it for ETH Denver for now, and the funding proposals in the works. Only other thing I had for GMI was the Forge launch, and we touched on this last week.
Actually, quickly, just jumping back, I've actually heard the meme that like, technically the flippening has already happened if you count wrapped Bitcoin as Ethereum.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Yes. Anyway. I wonder what that ratio is. Now you got me thinking. But anyway, so the Forge is coming out soon. They're hard at work getting it ready for, again, Q1 coming up soon. It should be very close to what's it called? The arena launch.
Right.
But Dr. Wagme's looking for support in getting that event launched and reached out to GMI. So if you are interested in helping with that, again, there's a announcement in the Lodge general chat channel with the GMI server. Head on over there, let us know that you're interested, and we'll coordinate the event.
Yeah, like now that like something I'm wondering about this is like, obviously we know how to throw a good party. Is that what this is though, or do we actually need to like activate any kind of like? Are we going to be slinging NFTs at this party? Like, are we going to be like having live GBM? Like GBMs go live at this party kind of thing. Like, what's the plan here?
Ooh, maybe we put that in there. I think it's just like a celebratory.
It's up to the Forge. I'm wondering, like, when the Forge launches, what is actually going to happen at this thing? What do we need to highlight? Like, if I'm going to be running a stream for this party, what am I streaming? What am I showing? Yep.
That's legit. We can get in touch with Dr. Wagme and get details there.
Yeah.
Hefe or Mycalian may have already reached out as well. So we'll just have to fill in those blanks. But if that's something you're interested in helping us with, we could always use more help, planning these events. Every time we do one, it's basically just small group of us. So if you're interested in trying or helping or learning or whatever, we're always open.
That's a little mention of ETH Denver and the Gotchi Lodge. If like realistically, like the team at the Gotchi Lodge, like the team that's activating and saying like we will do this thing, is literally the masterminds of the Guild Summit and the Artist Summit. So like we do it. When we say we're going to do something, we not only do it, but it goes.
We'll keep you in Discord for 8 hours.
Than we expected. We're like, holy shit! Did we just do that? Yeah, we did.
So it's been a good track record so far.
Yeah. So
cool. And then last but not least, of course, fake gotchis. I don't know if we don't have a ton of time here to dig in, but
not
did you
even
have
paying
anything?
attention. We got another
I
show
know.
coming up.
Same. I have nothing prepped. I have no content for fake gotchis. We have a section for fake gotchis, and I didn't look. I didn't get to it this
Wait,
time.
but actually, there was one thing I meant to do more. I dropped the ball on this one, so maybe I need to activate this like after the show so I can do it. But I probably have an auction that either is ending right now for a Lone Raffle and Sus because I set it up
Ooh.
last week for a week-long thing, so it probably just ended, or it might
Okay.
be in hammer time, depending. I think I have another one live besides that. I should have set one up today, but I want to do a Twitter thread that's going to be like multiple ways to get a Lone Raffle and Sus. And they're all like, I'm going to have like maybe one on the GBM. I think I'm going to throw one on the Bazaar just to establish like kind of a bar to be like, this is, this is a price.
I think it's a good idea as a reference point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I might throw one on the Bazaar as like a buy it now. There's also this two like Get Up Puro postcards that are on Ethereum layer 1. And that's a way you can get one or two Lone Raffle and Sus because there's two specific Get Up Hero postcards that I posted in the thread. But honestly, at this point, if someone picked up any Get Up Hero postcard, I'd probably just throw them a Lone Raffle and Sus because if someone was like, well, I bought the wrong Get Up Hero on Ethereum, I'd be like, well, here, you can have a Lone Raffle, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like you still bought the NFT. So it's like, yeah. But yeah, I meant to do like a Twitter thread, but I got caught up with a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I'll probably do a Twitter thread that's like, here's a bunch of ways to get a Lone Raffle and Sus if you want to get one. That's all I got on my personal fake gotchi front. I know that there have been some like retweet, tag some friends things going on for some pieces. I mean, personally, I got a shout out to. Oh yeah, go ahead.
There's a pixel art looking piece where it looks like a torch lighting a map, the map of the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
I saw that there was
we were talking about that. Like it looks like a Game Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of cutting out there a little bit.
I would love to get one. I thought so. I was getting a delay on your video and things were looking weird. And I think it's because I love
Yeah, you were cutting out a little bit there. That's kind of why we were talking over each other.
Apologize for that.
Yeah. So there's definitely some stuff on Twitter. And yeah, GBM's always hot. I mean, the GBM is just hard to keep up with. It's so hot. Like I've gotten some pretty decent pieces lately though. Like I just throw randomly, like I can't pay attention all the time. So like I'll literally go in GBM and be like, oh, that's a good one. Whether I win or lose, I'm good with this. And I'll place a bet, like there you go. I throw down. But I ended up losing a couple, making a little extra ghost. And then like I actually got me a Nyan Gotchi at like 20.9 ghost yesterday. So I got, I got a Nyan Gotchi pretty low. I think I have a good bit of faces pieces. And that's what I was going to say when you were cutting out there, like, shout out. Cause like I got airdropped an answer and, from Pablo for being a max holder of pieces. Like I have 3 of each of his pieces.
Nice.
And then also got an arena from Gotchi Bulls. So shout out to Gotchi Bulls.
Did he burn the rest of those? Are those gone?
I don't know. He sent me a DM on Twitter and was like, yeah, I'm airdropping you an arena. I'm like, fucking right. That's awesome.
Nice.
My little butt was hanging out in that one. The life of the party.
It's a great
my
piece.
Butt did not come out at Miami, and I promise you, my butt will not be coming out in ETH Denver as cold as it is. I need my butt to stay.
Only if you're getting the tattoo, right?
Oh, right. That's right. If we get Gotchi Lodge 2023 tattoos on our butt with the DAO.
Regrettable. That'll be fun. Make some decisions that you can regret later.
There's a piece of trivia right there. What was Zombie Shepherd's first tattoo? It's Aavegotchi DAO on his butt.
Very appropriate. Very appropriate. Well, shoot, that
all
brings
right,
us pretty
well,
much here to the end of our show.
yeah, we are right here with 3 minutes to go, so we ought to cut it. But yeah, we're doing touch grass in Twitter Spaces. Get over to it's set up on the Zombie Shepherd Twitter page. So follow us to touch grass on Twitter Spaces, and then we will be back here on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or wherever you're watching this right now. We'll be back here after touch grass to do some zombie time music. Which, do I have anything planned for that? I still have the 2022 playlist that we weren't done with, but I also have some hot shit from 2023 that maybe we go over. Maybe I'll start the 22 playlist, and then while we're doing that, I'll be working on the 23 playlist to finish out the second half. We'll do a mixed bag today. So cool. Touch grass. See us in Twitter Spaces. From A to Z and Aavegotchi Podcast. We love hanging with y'all.
Plug all the things. And then Friday, we got all our events, the GMI events on Friday. There's a whole block on Friday. Don't forget that.
Of course. There's always Friday.
We got D420 has been rebranded. New name, new setup, new segments. Coming at it as the GMI block party. So that's at the old D420 slot. And then, of course, we've got Zombie Time Music Hour after that. And our GMI Syncopator. This week it'll be a Syncopator. So Friday block. Come on and join us for that as well.
And I think Zombie Time this week might be exciting. I might try to get brave, but I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
You'll have to join and find out, right? Just have to be there.
Yeah, Addison. Cool, man.
We'll see you later. Thanks for coming.
Us. If you can make it out to Twitter, join us there too.
Yes.
What else? What else? Anything else?
That's it. Clock's going. We got to pull the plug. We got to switch over to Twitter.
Season 2. Yeah, we're already like running over, but our season 2 Genesis token.
Too many things to plug.
Yeah, definitely. Think about getting a season 2 Genesis Post token that's on Lens. And, we'll talk more about that. But there's going to be a raffle at the end of the month. Not sure what it's going to be for yet. It could be for some physical merch. Might be for a lone raffle and sus. I don't know. What are we throwing on the table? We'll talk about it. And we'll see you at Touch Grass.
All righty. Bye, friends.
Bye.